A very big fine has been imposed on a South Korean game publisher for allegedly misleading players of its popular online games, two of them to be specific, in terms of the microtransactions that are in the game. And this all comes in the wake of several other cases where game developers and game publishers have also been fined for this same thing. Like we had Epic Games, for example, that received a fine for basically misleading or tricking younger kids into making purchases in Fortnite that they otherwise would not have made. So yeah, we've seen this a lot, but I feel like the fines that I have seen have came mainly from American-based companies, but this time it is a South Korean-based company called Nexon, specifically Nexon Korea Corporation. They are responsible for publishing two big games called Maple Story and Bubble Fighter, and they have been fined 11.6 billion won, which is approximately 8.9 million US dollars, for allegedly misleading players on the drop rate of certain loot boxes within their games. These loot boxes specifically are called cubes in the game. They modify or enhance the capabilities of characters' in-game equipment. Now, the cubes within this game are not new. In fact, they were introduced in May of 2010. That was, I was gonna say 13, but 14, about 13 or 14 years ago now that we're in 2024. So yeah, these games are not new games. They're definitely old games. Looks like Maple Story goes all the way back to 2003, and Bubble Fighter goes all the way back to 2009. So with 2010 being when they introduced the microtransactions, specifically the cubes in the game, it is kind of funny because I feel like microtransactions became a big thing in the US in like 2013, 2015. So I don't know, it looks like this South Korean company was kind of the first big company to, sort of implement this microtransaction feature into games. But it looks like from September 2010 onwards, Nexon was allegedly altering the probability structure or the drop rate of these cubes, and this was without notifying the player base of this different drop rate. And from what I'm seeing, between August 2011 and March 2021, basically 10 years, Nexon further adjusted the probabilities to exclude certain highly desired cubes altogether. Meaning that if you're into this game and you're into this game for decades, you keep buying these cubes to get certain items thinking that you have a chance to get it, and it turns out you have absolutely zero chance to get some of these items. I don't know, to me kind of sounds like fraud, and it looks like the reason they are getting this hefty fine is because regulators would agree. Specifically, the Korea Fair Trade Commission, or KFTC. They are the ones executing this fine, and if what they say is true, I gotta say, it is kind of a well-deserved fine. To put it in the nicest way possible, this is definitely shady, and just straight up wrong. I mean, this is money that you are spending on the game only to be lied to about the probability of these in-game drop rates, which I'm sure is the only reason that people were buying these crates in the first place. And it looks like this fine is the largest fine ever under South Korea's Consumer Protection in Electronic Commerce Act. Yeah, that's definitely a mouthful. But the reason it is the largest fine ever under this act, according to the KFTC, is because they're stating that the cube was a central aspect of the Maple Story game, and the fact that the violation period was basically a decade long. And what's more, it also looks like about 5 or 6 years ago, Nexon was fined at that point for providing false information about lottery-type items in another game called Sudden Attack. It sounds like it's not their first rodeo when it comes to deceiving players about in-game purchases, especially when it comes to chance, or, a drop table type of structure. Overall, as I said, very well deserved. I mean, I hate to say that, I'm not trying to celebrate a company losing money, but when you look at it, I really feel like stuff like this happens a lot with game developers, game publishers lying to their player base about stuff like this. So hopefully this fine sends a clear message to game companies that do just that.